Before I get into today's episode about Drew Brees, just letting you guys know I'm going to be on Twitch from 4 to 6 on Sunday. That'll be the next time I'm on Twitch, so check me out there. I've been having a lot of fun on Twitch. I think I'm just going to basically just go over some of the stuff I found interesting from Week 1 with the All-22 footage, maybe take some suggestions on players people want to see me see. So that's what I'll be doing. So definitely check me out there. The link is in the description for my Twitch channel. It's also Jackson Kruger Sports on Twitch. I've been having a lot of fun, so definitely check me out. And anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video. Well, I think it's fair to say Drew Brees did not have a great game. I think that's just fair to say. His Week 1 performance was not good. In fact, I think it was very bad. Now, I'm not going to just completely talk about the numbers. The numbers were not good, obviously. I mean, the fact that it took him, he had 30 attempts, he only completed 18 of them, and only had 160 yards. That's not great. The one bright spot, of course, is the 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But I actually think that, even with that, his stats might be a little bit better than how he played. Now, after the game, Sean Payton said this was the worst game plan he had ever come up with, or something along those lines. And obviously, I think that's a bit dramatic, but it's fair to say he did make some mistakes, and there were some moments where I think the Buccaneers coaching staff outcoached New Orleans' coaching staff, at least in terms of Buccaneers defense, Todd Bowles versus Saints offense and Sean Payton. This is an example where this is a play designed to beat cover 3 zone. Tampa Bay's in cover 3 zone. What's happening is that New Orleans has 2 players who are running deep, which the goal was to try to get both of the Tampa Bay players who are deep in that area to run further deep. And then what's going to happen is that Kamara runs around. He's going to kind of run underneath everything, and Brees just hits him. You try to pick up some yards. It's a simple play, not going for a ton of yards, but it is something that can work. However, Tampa Bay, as you see, they're just ready for it. The player in the black circle, he's quickly realizing what's going on. He knows this is something the Saints do, and he's trying to run in. And you also have multiple other Tampa Bay players running up in that direction, trying to clear up anything else so that if there is someone else open, they can take that away. So they're just all in a rotation here where they're knowing what they're supposed to do and getting in position to take away this type of play. Because of this, now they're able to run in and make a very quick tackle, and New Orleans isn't able to gain anything on that play just because they're being very aware, and they're just, they were aware for these types of plays. Like this next one's another one. What's going to happen is that it's designed just a quick pass to the outside. They have a receiver who will run out and block a defensive back. Another receiver is going to just run over the middle, and the goal is that the Tampa Bay defensive player who's covering him is going to continue following him towards the middle of the field. However, once this ball is snapped, you notice that he's doing a great job of not getting fooled on it. He realizes what's going on. He knows this is something New Orleans does, and he's not getting himself out of position. And it's also zone coverage, so that makes things a lot easier. And he's going to be able to run over and make this quick tackle because Tampa Bay was aware in New Orleans they got outcoached a little bit in certain areas. They absolutely did. So that is fair, and that is a fair. I think that's something to kind of feel good about if you're a Saints fan, because that's not going to happen consistently. It's kind of a once in a blue moon type of thing. Sean Payton very rarely gets outcoached. This is one of the few times he has. And it didn't even matter too much because your defense was so great, you were still able to put up a win. However, let's be honest for a second. Drew Brees made some mistakes. Drew Brees was not good. Drew Brees had a bad game. And, there's 2 ways you could take it. You could say, hey, this 40-year-old quarterback is washed up, or you could say this 40-year-old quarterback had a bad game. Those are 2 separate things. Once you turn a certain age, you no longer just have a bad game. Now you're washed up when you have a bad game, at least in terms of the eyes of certain people. Which is it? Well, it's hard to say. But first, let's just talk about, why things didn't work out so well. For one thing, I thought this play was really scary if you're a Saints fan, where it's a cover 3 zone. You have 2 receivers running deep. And, this is the kind of thing where it can work out okay because there are 2 players who are running deep who are going to kind of be in the same zone. Now, a safety could run over and this corner, covers the guy closest to the sideline, and they could just take this away easily. But what's going to happen here is actually that the corner, he's going to move a little bit closer to the inside right here. There is a player open, and if Brees wants to make this throw, this could potentially be a touchdown. And Brees is looking in this direction too. It's not like Brees just didn't notice it or he was looking at something else because, that would be understandable. But no, he's looking in that direction. He sees that player is open, but he's not going to take this shot. Instead, he just checks down to Kamara, even though the checkdowns hadn't been working all game, and there's a very quick tackle right there. They don't gain anything. And I think that's a little bit scary. It makes you wonder, like, does Drew Brees trust his deep ball? Because he totally gave up a play that could have definitely worked. We also just saw some bad misses, quite frankly. Like on this one, it's a cover 3 zone. You have a receiver running a route that's going to get into a gap in coverage sort of on the sideline right there. You know, it's not a totally easy route to make, but this is a throw that we've seen Drew Brees make a bajillion times. However, this time you are going to see that, he tries to make this throw and he's just off the mark, and it's really not even close. It was just a bad missed throw, and that wasn't the only one. I'm not taking these plays out of context. Like, watch, here's another one. The way this play works is that Tampa is in zone, but they have the New Orleans Saints are going to have Michael Thomas run a route. He's basically just going to be the decoy on this play where he runs over the middle. That's going to create some extra tension. So then when Kamara runs to the outside, he could potentially get open, and it's going to work out very well. I mean, this play is going to work out. Kamara gets wide open. However, again, Brees, his throw is just off the mark, and maybe Kamara could have still caught it. Maybe you want to put some blame on him, but it was still a bad throw. There's no denying that. And listen, I'm someone who defended Drew Brees last season. A lot of people were saying that he wasn't very good towards the end of last season. I thought he was really good. I mean, his numbers were great. I know numbers don't tell the whole story, but the numbers were very good. I thought that his, quote-unquote bad play was incredibly overblown. I didn't think he was great in the playoff game. Nobody did. But other than that, I thought that he was still looking sharp at the end of the season. This game was not a great game. He did have one big moment, so I'm not going to try and be completely biased. He did have one big moment, and this was kind of the dagger, so he deserves a lot of credit for this one. At this point, there's only 14 minutes left, and it's a one-score game. So, second down and 10. It's a cover 4 zone, but with an extra man in coverage. So, they're only rushing 3 right here. Jared Cook is running a deep route. That's how this is going to work. And as you see, I mean, this got mentioned on the broadcast. You see Jamel Dean. He's kind of expecting this ball to not go his way. I think he maybe thinks that perhaps the safety is going to be finishing off this route, or maybe he's just trying to, he thinks it's going to be an underneath route. He wants to potentially run in and try to get an interception or something. But Cook runs by him, and Brees makes an incredibly accurate throw deep down the field to hit Cook, who is able to get the ball inside the 20, and that really was the dagger. So, again, that's kind of why I'm a little confused about the deep ball I showed earlier where he didn't take it. Maybe he just regretted not taking it, and then when he saw another one, he decided to take it. So maybe it's not as concerning as it might seem right when you see it. He did have some missed throws. There's no denying that. And listen, 60% completion percentage, that's not a mess for most guys. For Drew Brees, that's like a terrible day. He's usually way better than that. In fact, if you go back in the past 4 seasons combined, he has had one game where he had under a 60% completion percentage. Just one. He had a couple where he tied 60%. But I mean, just insane. He's typically incredibly accurate. He wasn't his typical Drew Brees self. It's fair to say that. And you know what? When you're 40, the question is going to come up, and I think it's fair to say, do you still have it? And for him, it's going to be up to him to prove that he does throughout the rest of the course of the season. I find it interesting. What do you guys think? Is Drew Brees washed up? Is Drew Brees a mess? Or did he just have one bad game and you shouldn't overreact because of it? I always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.